Hello, my name is Sascha Preibisch, and today I would like to talk about OpenID Connect and specifically about financial grade APIs version 1. And financial grade APIs version 1 have two parts, part 1 and part 2. And today I would like to talk about part 1, baseline. So here are a few highlights. FAPI, financial grade APIs, are specifications that describe profiles on top of OAuth 2 and OpenID Connect. So it's not so much something new in this space, but it uses OAuth 2 and OpenID Connect and ties it to a use case. And where the RFC is relatively vague, what FAPI does is it defines very specific values for very specific use cases. And in this baseline profile, it's a first version of security requirements for high-value financial grade APIs. And it is also useful outside of the financial context. If you are implementing a server or a client application outside of the financial space, this could still be very useful because the requirements here are certainly valid for any implementation that wants to enhance the security side of things. And all the details can be found online in the OpenID Financial API Part 1-10 document. So specifically, Part 1, the baseline section of the spec, talks about different entities within the whole OpenID Connect and OAuth environment. So first of all, about authorization servers. And it's all about how tokens should be issued, how users should be authenticated, how clients should be authenticated, and how tokens should be revocated. This all apply to the authorization server. It also talks about public clients. So public clients are usually implemented in JavaScript or native mobile apps. If you don't know what public clients are, then you may want to watch my video about them. And then the specs talk about confidential clients. Those are usually clients that are implemented on a server. So it's a secure server, of course, and it is able to protect a secret, a client secret. And again, if you don't know what confidential clients are, please look at the video that you'll find on my channel. And last but not least, about resource servers. Resource servers, in this case, of course, those would be APIs of a bank, for example, or an insurance. And the spec has a few requirements in regards to validations, how incoming requests should be validated. And all of this is built on top of OAuth 2 and OpenID Connect. So now, if you open the spec, you will find different sections, and this page displays the chapters that mainly refer to authorization servers. And it looks overwhelming, I think. There's quite a few list items shown here. And the idea of this slide is not so much to have you read all of those single lines or me read all of them to you, but to give you an idea that if you look into those sections, these 4 paragraphs apply to authorization servers. And what I want to do is split those up and discuss them in detail and categorize them so that if you are an implementer and you are working on certain areas, it's easier for you to find out which lines may apply to your task that you're working on. So here's the first slide. This slide breaks apart the paragraph 5.2.2. And it may not be the prettiest slide, but if you color match the left side with the right side, you can easily see which part of an authorization server is addressed by which lines. So for example, the yellow one, confidential clients, everything that's yellow on the left-hand side refers to confidential clients mainly. So if you are working on the validation side or the registration side on your authorization server that work with confidential clients, you may want to revisit those yellow marked sections. Same for public clients. In this case, it's mainly saying public clients should be supported. But then redirect URI, you can see this cyan color, this bluish color, lines 8, 9, 10, and then also almost the last one, line 20. They all refer to redirect URIs. So again, this should help you figure out where to update your implementation or where to review your application. The pink one, Pixie, PKCE, it's just one line, actually two, line 7, and then further down, line 21 on the left-hand side. Those refer to Pixie, so to say. Then we have AMR, ACR. This is the grayish term, line 11, 14, 15, 16, 18. Those may not necessarily be implemented on the authorization server, but they are all about how are users authenticated in the context. Has the appropriate authentication method been used? Is the level of assurance reached that was required? So all of this gray area refers to authentication. Scope consent, line 12 and 17. These blue ones, they refer to your scope and consent management that you implement. Especially line 17 states that messages should be displayed to users in detail so that the user actually knows what the user is granting to. Then we have token issuance, token response, token revocation. And earlier I said Pixie refers to line 7 and 21. That was a mistake. Line 21 applies to token issuance, token response, token revocation. Sorry, and then we have a few general requirements in this orange, yellowish color. The last section on the right-hand side, and then you'll find line 13, 19, and 22 on the left-hand side. I hope this helps with figuring out what to look out for in which section. Next we have paragraphs 5.2.2.1, 2, and 3. And it's the same thing. The different colors are associated with these different categories. And you can see line 5, for example, applies to different sections. We've got quite a few AMR, ACR related ones and general requirements for validations. So now on this slide, I went a little step ahead and took all the requirements that we saw on the previous pages and put them into different sections here. So for example, if you wanted to evaluate an authorization server or if you want to build one for FAPI, these are validations, for example, request validations that you should implement and follow. In regards to resource owner authentication, you could or you should look into this section here, request authorization by the resource owner. You could look into here, and then when your server creates responses, this is what you should look out for. And then the last one indicates that your server should only promote its metadata via the well-known OpenID configuration endpoint. So this should give you a good starting point to get an idea on what your server should be capable of in the context of FAPI. Now here's the same colorized slide for public clients and confidential clients. And this again matches color codes. So for example, public clients should support Pixie, PKCE, and it should use S256 as the code challenge method and therefore not the code or the algorithm none, which is not supported. This applies to redirect URIs. This is general validations, general requirements, and then again for scope and consent management or the consent behavior feature. And then for confidential client, it's mainly about the authentication method and if a secret is used in order to create a client secret JOT, there are requirements on the length of the secret. Now on this page again, I try to come up with an overall list of requirements for implementations, and whatever applies to public clients also applies to confidential clients in the context of FAPI. And one difference that you may notice if you have worked with OAuth and OpenID Connect quite a lot, you will see that PXE is required for public clients, but since these requirements also apply to confidential clients, FAPI also wants PXE to be used with confidential clients, even though it's mainly made for public clients. So there are a few little differences that you have to look into before working in this space, or if you want to secure your own services more, you want to apply these requirements to your implementations. Now this page is all about the resource servers, and I don't have the color coding here, but I summarized the left section on the right section here and put them into categories also. So for incoming requests, the resource server should support GET methods, should only accept access token in an authorization header, not as a query parameter, for example. It has to check if the access token is expired or revoked. And this goes on like this. Then headers that should be included in a response, for example, the date header is required, which is usually not necessarily the case. The body should be encoded with UTF-8 if applicable. CORS should be supported. And what you also need to know is that access token could be introspected by the resource server if it is an access token expressed as a JSON Web Token. And if not, then the resource server may need to send a request to the authorization server in order to have the token validated, especially for finding out if it's expired or revoked. And then also the access token has to be associated with the resource owner, and the scope that is associated with the token also has to match what the resource server can serve and what has been granted by the user. So those are all little details that are generally useful but required and specified in FAPI. And that's it. This is the content of FAPI 1 baseline, which you'll find as part 1.0. I also have a link to OpenID Connect for general information, just as for OAuth 2.0. And if you like the video, leave a comment. Maybe you want to suggest a topic I should talk about, subscribe. And if you thought it's really helpful, consider taking a quick peek at Buy Me a Coffee. Have a good day.